and welcome back to LaunchPad Consultancy's Parenting Conference, where we have been having a grand time with our esteemed presenters. We want to thank K-Boys Production Limited for partnering with us. Of course, they're doing the awesome work with videography services. They also provide photography services, and you can find them on Instagram as you look up K-Boys_Productions, and also you can call into 482-7190 to make your bookings for videography, photography, and other related services. They cater to individuals, families, as well as businesses. So be sure to check in with K-Boys Productions Limited. And of course, our final presentation, but certainly not the least, is being done by Dr. Pamela Amun. And she's here this evening representing Alemacss and Associates, bringing over 20 years as a teacher. She is a retired principal, she's an author, and backed by her PhD in education, Dr. Amun is going to be sharing with us this evening about engendering love in the family. So as we continue to hear from all the presenters and how we can build ourselves as parents, let's put our hands together this evening as we welcome Dr. Amun.
Good evening to everyone, those that are listening via the web, and the audience right here. Good afternoon. Thank you very much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here to share, because my personal vision is to add value to the lives of people. And with that in mind, and also focusing on education, I thought the best place to start, since I retired from the classroom, the best way to start was to begin with the parents, because the parent is actually the first teacher. And your theme this evening is fostering love in the family, right? And my book basically is raising children with the maximum capacity to love. Now, Alemacss and Associates, we have been looking at other parenting classes and so on, and we are offering parenting based on brain development. Now, the only organ in our body that tells us what to do, and behavior is telling us what to do, is the brain. So we are looking at it from that perspective, looking at the neuroscience of the brain, and looking at how the brain forms and how the neurons connect. And this book speaks to looking at that from in the womb, because the foundation that you lay is what the child is going to build on after birth. So the book looking at maternal stress in pregnancy, because maternal stress emits in the body excessive cortisol, which is negative for brain development. Now, during pregnancy, the mother's supposed to be relaxed. Gentlemen, you're supposed to support the wife, not be at the bar. You're supposed to be supporting the wife in everything she does, making sure that she's comfortable, so that not cortisol takes over her body, but oxytocin. Oxytocin is the befriending and the friend hormones that contribute to well-developed brain connections. So everything the mother does. Now, some people might say, but how come the child brain can be developing from experiences? The experiences comes through the mother. So the mother is the conduit for these experiences. So if the mother is basically in a stressful situation, you find that a lot of cortisol is emitted in the body, and the brain, the neurons in the brain are forming. But what the neurons is sending messages to the child, hey, you're coming out in a harsh environment, so prepare yourself for negativity. So you find that children are born with particular dispositions and temperaments because of the experiences of the mother. The book goes into all of this and tell you what you ought to do and what you ought not to be doing. And gentlemen, the information is there for you too. So the role that you play, you don't just drop the seed, but you nurture the seed and you nurture the plant through the mother. The best thing you can do for your children, or your unborn children, or your present children, is to love their mother. Because when you love your mother, the mother is connected to the children, and the children feel that love, especially before the child is born in the womb. The book also goes on to look at from 18 months all the way to age 2, all the things that the child needs. The child at that time is dependent on the environment, the people in the environment, When the child cries, don't say, let the child cry, let the child learn to be independent. No, 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 no. The child is not learning to be dependent. What the child is learning, hey, nobody's responding to me. This is a harsh environment. I might as well protect myself. And the child builds up a hard, crusty, emotional aspect of himself. And if this continues, and it continues, and it continues, you find that there is no attachment. And with a poor attachment comes a lack of trust. So trust, mistrust. Now some people might say, oh, how is that important? It's very important, because if you get involved with a gentleman who doesn't trust, if you're not in his eyesight, you wonder where you are, what you're doing, calling on your phone, he wants to make sure that he's seen you, because there is no trust. And that trust began in the playpen, in the crib, right? So it contributes to the kind of person that the individual turns out to be. So we want to give our children the best life chances. So therefore, we want to really look at the kind of emotional and psychological nurturing that begins from in the womb. So then the book also goes down all the way to age 3, when the child needs to be able to take initiative. Yes, you set limits. Yes, you set boundaries. Boundaries are very, very important. But within the boundaries, you are there to show the child nurturing and loving and caring. And if by the time the child is age 3, the child is going to say, I can do this for myself, I can do that for myself. But you find sometimes they want to mop up the place by the children more water. Now please don't get angry. It's going to be difficult not to get angry. But if you don't get angry, let them know that's a mistake. And in life there are going to be mistakes. However, mistakes can be fixed. So do you want to use the mop? What do you think you can do to fix them up, to get up the water? The child might decide, I want to use my bath towel. You say, no, you have to use that bath towel. Oh, I want to use my clothing. No, but we have a mop for that. I will get them up, I will get them up. And the child will want to do. The child wants to be the same as you. You find at age 3, the child wants to dress up like mommy, put on the heels, put on the lipstick, even though it's all here. You know, the child wants to be the same as. The child is emulating. And that is where attachment comes out of the crib, and when the child is now running around. The child wants to emulate the mother, emulate the father. The father is out fixing a car, you find that the child is there, want to do this, want to help, want to be the same as. That is part of attachment. Attachment doesn't really end with the baby bonding in the crib, but it continues through the years. And then it goes on to where the child has to take the initiative. The child takes the initiative to do certain things. Don't say, oh gosh, keep quiet, sit down. No. Allow the child to do it, but you be there so that you could provide a safety net, just in case anything goes wrong. So you be nurturing that attachment and that caring. And in nurturing that attachment and caring, in the meantime, every single experience a child has, the brain is changing. So the neurons are connecting for love, connecting for caring, connecting for showing warmth. But if a child is in an abusive situation, you find that the child's neurons, they are connecting for negativity, for hurting others. Where they can go out and pick up a gun and shoot somebody without even thinking twice. I remember when I was a principal, there were some kids that, they say, Miss, why you stop me fight? Why do you stop me fight? I want to see blood. They want to fight until they see blood. These children have been nurtured in an environment where their brain has been wired for negativity and abuse. You'll find all this information in the book. It tells you what you need to do so that you can nurture your child. By the time the child reaches age 5 to 12 to get into primary school, that is when the child is developing industry. They want to show themselves to be capable of doing certain things. Your job, as a parent, is to compliment the child, to show the child approval, to show the child that child matters. Show that child that he or she comes first in anything that you are doing. Always factor in your child. Your child is the most important resource that you have. And you are fortunate that you have a child, because some people are longing to have children. They are longing to have children. So basically love is a product of parenting. And what is parenting? Parenting is basically you are processing your child. You remember the little 5 pounds, 6 ounces that you came home with from the hospital? You are nurturing your child to be the best version of himself. So you're allowing the child to come up with ideas and formulate meaning for himself and herself, so that they will come up with, who am I? I am a capable person, I can do this. I can do maths, I can do spelling, I can do this. Why? Because mommy's told me yes. She was happy that I got 10 out of 5, 5 out of 10. She just said, good, but you could try a little harder. But if the child comes in and says, what happened to the other 5? What do you want to get a problem? No. Compliment what the child did and what the child has accomplished. And once the child sees that because all children want to please their mommies and daddies. All children want to please, because they want to be seen as good in their eyes. But if they are not attached to you, they will want to be good in the eyes of their peers. And the peers, they are not showing them the kind of intimate, emotional attachment that they need. They are showing them a superficial. Now another thing too with the brain develops, the brain at birth is the only species that has, where the brain, the young is born without complete brain development. It's only when you become 26 or 25 your brain is completely developed. So when you're interacting, when you let our children be socialized or oriented by their peers, you find immature brains socializing immature brains. And this is the problem we're having in society. Right now that we're having all this bullying and this fighting and this group and gang, they are looking for mature brains. And the first mature brain that they have is the parent. And the parent is supposed to be helping the child to develop, not trying to bring about a particular kind of behavior. For example, like timeout. Timeout is just focusing on the behavior. And the timeout is ready for you, it's not ready for the child's development. Because when the child is on timeout, you have some peace and quiet. But what is happening with the child in the room? The child will practice saying, oh, praise God, I'm away from her, because she is just a nuisance. Right? Or the child may be saying, oh Lord, well, I am here, I have all my books, my TV, my games. So I just spend my whole time out, playing my games and enjoying myself. But it does not contribute to development. Remember, you want to develop your child to the greatest capacity he or she is able to reach. So you're talking about nurturing, you're talking about developing. You're talking about developing love. And you need to develop love. First of all, you need to develop love for yourself, because the other presenter spoke about self-care. In fact, that's part of our presentation. At Alemacss, we also have a program on self-care for parents, because if you are stressed at the end of the day, and you come home and your child say, Mommy, I want to watch TV for 5 more minutes. You are so tired. And yeah, go ahead now. You can take 10, you can take 20. And eventually you end up going in your bed and the child watching TV. The child stays there, you don't know how long because you're fast asleep. But if you come home and you leave a time where you sort of kind of regroup, you sort of regroup yourself, maybe you take a walk, maybe listen to some music, maybe you could, so that you can fill yourself. The other presenter spoke about an empty cup, so that you can fill yourself. So when your child comes to you, you'll be able to give, and you will not be reacting on the stress and so on. So that when you're looking at getting your child to the maximum capacity, right, of development. We're talking about emotionally, spiritually, cognitively, so every holistic development. And you as the parent, you set the bearings for that. And the bearings for that is attachment and relationship. You cannot parent a child whose heart you don't have. Your child must give your higher heart to you, and it comes in the loving and the caring relationship that you have with that child from in the womb. Well, you may have those that are already born, but you can still start then. You can still start then. Always be attachment conscious. Whatever you do, if you discipline your child, focus on whether will this hamper the attachment between my child and I? Right? Because you want your children to be attached to you. You don't want your child to be attached to peers. If they are not securely attached to you, they are going to be attached to peers, because attachment, that need for attachment, is a natural instinct of human beings. So if they are not attached to the parents or to adults, they are going to be attached to their peers. And you don't want them to be attached to their peers, because they're going to follow what the peers do, the values of the peers, right? How the peers dress, what they talk about, and so on. One thing I want to slip in here, I want to talk about parenting your child in the digital world. If you have your child attached to you, and you control and put limits on what time you look at the television or you go on the internet, what you look at and so on, you are basically controlling the content, the context and the timing of the particular information that is out there, right? So please, parents, focus on attachment. And we at Alemacss will be having our parenting and expo and workshop caregiving. It's a prayer breakfast and brunch. For more information, you can call 287-9652 or 460-4752. For more information on our parenting with a difference, looking at brain development and all the neuroscience that are out there. And our brain is plastic. Every experience we have, we change the wiring of our brain. So therefore, change the experiences of your children so that you can produce the kind of brain that you want, a brain of positivity. And I thank you very much.